Hello and welcome to Alive and Well Radio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Karena Thek, and I am here with my sound guy, Chris. Hey, kiddo, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
You surviving the heat? It's like record out there.
Yeah, with this new haircut, I am surviving the heat, and
You have no hair left, except for a few strands going straight up
it's
to the
called the
ceiling.
David Beckham look.
It is. It looks like a mohawk. You have the picture next to you.
Yes,
Show
I have
me.
the picture.
Nobody can see the picture on air.
Well, maybe SCV TV can see it.
Oh, okay. SCVT got
There you
they
go.
got it for sure. So you still running in this heat?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Just gives me an excuse to wear short shorts.
As long as you're doing the strap thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Because, you know, when I was in junior high, I was on the track team. And the boys didn't figure out the strap thing right away. And the girls, we were just dying. We're in the I can still see us sitting on the grass, just wetting our pants.
Oh, wow.
I need earphones, by the way.
Oh, you need earphones?
Because those poor boys are probably still traumatized from that. You know, the coach really should.
They can never be intimate ever again.
Right. Yeah. They're going to find us on Facebook and haunt us forever because we traumatize them. But let me get my headset on here because we have a guest on line with us. This is Dr. Lisa Saponaro. She is a Florida psychologist and member of the American Psychological Association. And by the way, our topic today is the emotional aspect of overeating and how we can begin to address the emotional aspects to make real weight loss breakthroughs. So again, that is why Dr. Lisa Saponaro is on the line with us. She has actually battled her own weight problem most of her life and in fact was morbidly obese until 2 years ago. Dr. Saponaro identifies her greatest and most challenging client as herself and admits that she continues to be challenged by food. Welcome, Dr. Saponaro.
Thank you.
So how is the weather in Florida? We're just like about dying here. It's like 2 degrees away from hell, I think.
It is hot here too.
Florida,
we
and
have
humid,
It's
and humid.
always hot here.
We have a dry heat, so
Yeah.
we're like
I know.
baking over here.
We have a melting, muggy heat that you get covered with slime when you walk out the door.
Well, but you know, the good thing about the slimy heat is that you actually end up with really great skin. And I'm, 43 and look 85 because I've just turned into a leather turtle.
Yeah, all those sweat glands get activated.
Right.
We're jerky over here.
We're jerky. That's right. So, Dr. Saponaro, I want to start off with you just attended a conference in which obesity was actually identified as one of the 3 critical issues confronting not just the field of psychology, but society in general.
Absolutely.
Why is that? Why is it considered one of the 3 most critical issues?
We're talking about it as the next public health crisis. 2/3 of adults in the United States are either overweight or obese. And the trends, the rate at which it is growing is just so rapid. I was looking at the health charts last night, and even from 2006 to 2008 to 2010, we don't even have a state left with less than 15% rate of obesity now.
Is that
So it's just
right?
growing so quickly, and the health implications, the tax that it's going to cause on our healthcare system, it's astronomical.
Well, and you bring up a good point. I don't think the obesity epidemic would be an epidemic if there weren't so many meds to keep people alive. I guess that's a good thing, but I don't think people are taking, control of the obesity problem because they can take meds for the heart problems that are a result of obesity. They can take meds for, the diabetes. They can take meds for just about everything that obesity is causing.
Yeah, that's running out. We're actually breeding the first generation of children that's predicted to not live as long as their parents.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Even with the meds to keep them alive?
Even with the meds.
That's scary.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
It's tremendously frightening. And it's literally a result of what we're eating.
So our affluence basically has killed us. I mean, it's like we're affluent to have whatever kind of food we want, but unfortunately, we're choosing the wrong foods. But that can be a discussion that goes into all kinds of areas. But I really want to focus on the emotional aspect of eating. So, just I guess very simply, what does that mean? What does emotional eating mean?
Emotional eating is, and it's so common that we don't even think about it anymore. It's eating for how you're feeling, as opposed to eating to nourish our bodies. And we've moved so far away from food as a form of nourishment,
Right.
and we look at food for reward, food to make us feel better. What do you feel like eating today? Not what does your body need.
Right.
How are you feeling? Oh, you felt bad. Let's have some ice cream, or let's have some comfort food. So food has become so ingrained in how we celebrate and how we make ourselves feel better.
So for anyone where food is readily available, then it's not going to be looked at or even remotely conceived as nourishment. It is going to be, what do you feel like eating tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be most of the population of this country.
It unfortunately is. And there's some signs that you are eating. Now, just because you're eating and not looking at your food as nourishment doesn't mean you're emotionally eating.
Okay.
Emotionally eating is more when you're eating to change your emotional state. That's really emotional eating.
Okay. So what are the signs of that? What is someone doing who's emotional eating?
That would be, and I am sorry, we have the lawnmower going on outside right now.
That's okay.
That's exercise.
It's you tell that guy, get off the riding lawnmower, push it.
Right. Where's the rain when we need it? It's right about now. So emotional eating, it's when that hunger comes on out of nowhere, when there's kind of a desperate need to eat, when there's a food that you get fixated on, when you feel guilty after eating, when you feel an intense set of feelings before eating and you're seeking some food to change that. So you're really frustrated and you just want to sit down and have some ice cream, or you're really angry or hurt and you're going to go celebrate or you're going to go commiserate with the girlfriends and share pizza or wings. Some sort of, usually ends up being what we call comfort foods, those high-fat foods that people seek to change their emotional state. Frequently it's stuff we identify with our childhood, but most oftenly it's a high-fat food that we
So it's usually a
choose for
high
emotional
fat.
comfort.
Is there a biological component to craving that high fat?
There is some hormonal component. What we've really shown, what the studies are showing is, in the same way that the cocoa leaf, people don't get addicted to chewing on the cocoa leaf in the same way they get addicted once you process it into crack cocaine. The same is true with wheat, corn. As we process it further and further,
Interesting.
the level to which we seek those things, we develop cravings, and it reinforces and sets off chemicals in our brain that really aren't quite natural as it comes to food. They're more like the cocaine response to food. So those simple sugars and those trans fats send off signals in our brains that give a feel-good response.
So it's less likely.
Temporary response.
Yeah, so it's less likely, in other words, that someone's going to crave corn on the cob than they are going to crave the high fructose corn syrup in a soda.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's craving corn on the cob.
Okay, that would be me.
I crave corn. I also crave asparagus.
You do not.
Do.
I used to number one craving.
I used to crave avocados, but those are a high fat food. Whenever I would get a migraine, I was going straight for the avocado section. But so we all definitely have experience with that intense craving for a certain food. But so I guess it comes to, is this a regular pattern?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So that's,
and when we learn to change our emotions with the food, that's when it becomes problematic as our go-to. So feelings really ought not be regulated by food, and looking to food for how we feel better. We need to take different strategies to help ourselves feel better. And when we go to the easy route, if I teach you, if you just do this, you'll feel better, well, it's true, but then you need to do more of it more often, and the gains that you get from it don't really last, but somehow you've developed a pattern.
Right.
And that's the emotional overeating.
And is that pattern created by parents? Is that created by genes? Where is that coming from?
one of the presentations I was in this week said that genetically, kids who are predisposed towards obesity actually are reinforced more by their mothers, and the kids that are not, moms don't tend to give the cracker to make them feel better. So we don't really know that interplay, but there is some level of genetics that it does seem to be playing out. But certainly, it's like if you never drink alcohol, you're not going to be an alcoholic no matter how genetically predisposed you are. And so parenting plays a role. When we're giving our kids food to quiet them, when they're cranky, when they're upset, to make them happy, we are creating a pattern that marries food with feelings.
That makes sense. And I've watched lots of families raise children, my friends and whatnot, and I've seen children from the same family. One is very thin, the other is very heavy. And quite frankly, from birth, one is craving carrots and the other is craving donuts. So, and one won't eat donuts and the other one won't eat carrots. So I definitely have seen just, through observation, that there is a real different need for children, kind of come out that way. We say like we come out with our own personalities.
And we look at that, kind of that's the cell level, and it grows outward from there, from the individual and their genetics, and then we look at their family, and then the community that they live in, and then the state and nation that they live in, and every component seems to play a role.
Yeah. Dr. Saponaro, we have to take a quick break, take care of business, but when we get back, if we can you talk to us a little bit more about how can someone become more aware of their motives for eating, and especially why does this seem to be worse at nighttime? And I think for anything that certainly that I'm going through emotionally, nighttime is like the death moment.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that. We are speaking with Dr. Lisa Saponaro. She is a Florida psychologist and member of the American Psychological Association, and she is here to speak with us today about emotional overeating. We'll be right back on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, I'm Paul Cass, and I am the advisor to a wonderful group at Placerita Junior High School known as KidFlix Video Production. And you are watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
Hi, I'm Dan Sturkle, General Manager at Nissan Valencia, home to the $99 down delivers. I'm standing next to two of my most favorite vehicles, the completely redone 2013 Altima with its unbelievable 38 miles to the gallon, and the 2012 fully electric Leaf. It goes 100 miles for under $5. Here at Nissan of Valencia, not only do we have some of the lowest prices on our new Nissans, but we also have extremely low prices on our vast inventory of pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at the all-new Nissan of Valencia, home to the $99 down delivers.
Escape reality at the Ivy Day Spa in Valencia. Relax your mind in our tranquil solarium. Unwind during your VIP massage. Rejuvenate with advanced diamond tip microdermabrasion, or choose from a variety of facial treatments. For a unique spa experience, visit the Grotto, where you'll enjoy a full body exfoliating scrub in an exotic setting. Schedule your escape today and receive a 50% discount on a VIP Grotto experience with your next full service treatment at the Ivy Day Spa in Valencia.
Hello and welcome back to Alive and Well on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am Karena Thek, and we are talking about the emotional aspects of overeating today and how we can begin to address those emotions to make real weight loss breakthroughs. We are on the line today with Dr. Lisa Saponaro. She is a Florida psychologist and member of the American Psychological Association. Welcome back, Dr. Saponaro.
Thank you again.
And before we went on break, we mentioned that what we'd really like to talk about is how does someone become aware of their motives for eating? So instead of going blindly through the steps, how is someone able to step back, look objectively at what they're doing and go, okay, hang on a second here. What do they do?
Why is this going to go in my mouth?
Yeah, why is this going to go in my mouth?
It's
right.
two pieces, I'd say. Part of that is first identifying what's going on with us from a feeling point of view, and then learning to identify how do we cope with and manage our feelings through stress management, health management, and other self-care. Mm-hmm. And the other piece of it is really becoming a more mindful eater.
Okay.
So on the first part, it's checking in with how you're feeling and what's going on with you. And if the feeling isn't hunger, let's start there. If the feeling isn't hunger, then probably food isn't the solution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so if the feeling's not hunger, then what is the feeling? And we may need to do more things to manage the stress. Stress is one of those things we talk about, and it's so frequent in America. And what do we do to manage our stress? And that comes in the form of relaxation, setting boundaries for ourselves, learning to say no, taking care of our bodies through regular exercise. We know that that helps manage mood and stress all by itself, so exercise is a critical component. Getting enough sleep. Most of Americans don't get the sleep they need each night, so just keeping our bodies rested and well really help us to cope with the feelings once we identify what they are.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is mindful eating. So in checking in with yourself, if it really is hungry, then that's an appropriate time to eat. And when you're eating, the best solution is not to be doing other things, to pay attention so that your body can recognize what's going into it, that you can taste and appreciate what you're putting in your body, that you're mindful of what purpose it's serving for you so that you know when to stop when your body's reached its full point. And it's, we're taught in our society, let's clean the plate and give yourself permission when your body says, okay, I'm full now, to stop eating.
Mm-hmm.
If we sit in front of the TV and eat our dinner, we're watching what's coming on. We may pause during a commercial, but we don't respect what our bodies are telling us. And so it's reconnecting the food nourish our body connection.
The nourish connection.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible eater. I've never had a weight problem, but I am a retired dancer, and I don't think I need to say more than that. As a psychologist, is like I saw a therapist for a while. He goes, "Yeah, you dancers are crazy." I don't think he was supposed to say that, but it kind of slipped out. So anyway, we have terrible eating habits. And I took a nutrition course. It was an online course. I can't recommend it enough for anyone who's had any sort of problem with eating. It's through Cornell University. Oh, what is it called? Plant-based nutrition. So yes, it is vegan-based, plant-based. But the really cool thing about that was that when you talk about mindful eating, for the first time in my life, I had an appreciation for how much my body has to accomplish in one day to keep me alive. And it needs precious little from me in order to accomplish that. But I wasn't even giving it that. It was like a little iodine, please. Could you not go for the sea salt? We need a little iodine here. Or eat seaweed. For the first time in my life, I actually had an appreciation for, wow, my body does a lot in order to support my driving into work and doing Pilates for 8 hours a day and yada, 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 yada. Yeah. So, I can't recommend that enough for, and of course it's all online.
You come to actually appreciate the flavors of different things too, when it's not all processed and served to you in some cellophane, what red pepper tastes like or what cilantro tastes like. Those vegetables add so much. Yeah. To our diet.
I think going to your local farmer's market can really help with the whole mindful eating. Talk to the people about how they're growing your food, and try to grow a tomato. I can't do it.
Can't either. The bugs in Florida, they eat them up.
Okay,
I can grow them, but I just never make it to them before the bugs.
Right. And I wanted to ask you, we have to take a break, but really quickly before we let you go, why is it harder at night for everyone to deal with any emotional problem?
That taps into our willpower and the issue of willpower. And every decision we make in every given day utilizes our willpower resource. And so by the end of the day, our willpower is largely deleted. So the more you set up patterns and take choice away, then the easier it is. You don't have to exert your will to make the proper choice because it's already planned for you. If you decide in advance what you're having for dinner that night, you're better off than coming home, being hungry, and trying to figure out then what to prepare for dinner.
That makes sense. So
as the day ticks on, our willpower is depleted, and you really want to put in take out the decision-making at night and give it to yourself when you're fresh in the morning.
Nice. Okay. Dr. Saponaro, it's been so great to have you on the show. Dr. Saponaro is a Florida psychologist and member of the American Psychological Association. Dr. Saponaro, if someone has a question for you, how can they reach you?
Sure. My website is lsaponaro.com, and it's my phone number. They're welcome to call the office at 954-577-0095, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
And you can always...
Something I love to talk about.
Great. And you can always call the station if you didn't catch that, and we can give you that number. Dr. Saponaro, thank you so much. I hope you'll join us again soon.
Thank you, Karena. It was
Have a great
pleasure.
day. We have Karen Koenig on the line with us. She's going to be joining us after this quick break. She is the author of 4 books on the topic of the psychology of eating. And we'll be right back to speak with her. This is Alive and Well Radio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, I'm Dirk Fisher, and you're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
In conclusion, our database management solution promises a 23% return in the first year alone.
Will they remember you? Everything is image, and you need your image on everything. For the most cost-effective solution, visit AmericanLogosForYou.com to put the name you choose on the things you choose. Advertise your company, promote your school, commemorate your family reunion. The possibilities are endless. Visit AmericanLogosForYou.com because everything is image.
I can't grasp why, but Bob's pitch seemed on target somehow.
Right. I can't put my finger on it, but Bob was memorable.
I agree. Bob's pitch made the right impression.
Let's award the contract to Bob then.
Make sure people remember you. Visit AmericanLogosForYou.com because everything is image.
Hey, we're so excited to have
The Donut Inn on Soledad Canyon Road has a new name, California Bakery and Cafe. You still get the donuts, hot chocolate, and fresh squeezed juices, the sandwiches, croissants, and our famous tamales. But you'll also get cakes for parties, celebrations, and major events. Our unique bread baskets offer a one-of-a-kind gift, all with the personal service you have come to expect for the last 35 years. Get a cup of coffee and a Danish 24 hours a day. California Bakery and Cafe.
Hello and welcome back to Alive and Well Radio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am Karena Thek, and I am joined by a new guest. We have a new guest who has just called in. This is Karen Koenig. She is a clinical social worker and an expert on the psychology of eating, the how and the why, not the what of it. Welcome, Karen.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. Not only are you the author of 4 books on the subject, but you have over 30 years experience with emotional eaters. So I'm so grateful that you're able to join us today.
Well, I'm delighted to be here.
So I'd like to kind of pick up where we left the conversation with Dr. Saponaro. And one of the questions I have for you is, why doesn't dieting seem to work with emotional overeating? Or does it work with emotional overeating?
Well, it works in the short term for as long as you're on the diet.
Yeah.
But, as we all know, that's not very long. The diets sort of lose their attractiveness after the first 10 minutes.
Well, they're a lot of work. I mean, there are like a lot of, I've tried to change my own eating habits at times, and like I said, at times, it's really hard. I mean, changing an eating habit has got to be one of the hardest things to do.
It is. And diets actually work against us long term. The statistic that I use is, 95-98% of people who diet regain the weight, and 90% regain more than they originally lost.
Oh, wow.
And this statistic has stayed pretty steady for about 20 years. Now, that says it doesn't mean you can't change your lifestyle and gain life skills to lose weight. But when we diet, our body thinks that we don't have food around, so metabolism slows, and we feel deprived. And instead of getting us not to think of food dieting gets us thinking
Right,
about food
that's
all
all we think about, right?
Right. What did I eat? What will I eat? What can I eat?
What time can I eat?
Yes.
Right.
And diets are really an external prescription for how to eat, whereas we really know how to do that internally, what I call normal eating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's reconnecting, as the doctor was saying, to our body cues for food. They're natural. We've had them for the 200,000 years that humankind has been around.
You said that diets are an external prescription, and but it's an internal problem. So I mean, it's something. If you're morbidly obese, it's not any longer about just finding the right pattern to eat. It's about changing your whole view on food. Is that correct?
Well, whether you are 10 pounds overweight or morbidly obese, even if you didn't have eating problems, it's about living a rational, healthy life where you have really excellent self-care anyway.
Okay.
So that most of the people I treat, even if they didn't have an eating problem, I would say they don't always negotiate life as well as they could.
Okay.
They don't have great relationships. They don't set boundaries. They don't balance work and play. They don't know how to comfort themselves. So it's not really about the food. It's when you have these life skills, you have a great life.
Okay. And so what are the life skills that they're lacking would be self-care?
Well, primarily self-care, but even below that is really unconditionally loving yourself. If we love something, if we have a car we love, if we have a child we love, we don't occasionally treat it well and occasionally not treat it well.
Okay.
But we do that with ourselves when we have mixed feelings. What do I deserve? Do I really love myself? Am I good enough? But if you love yourself all the time, you want the best for yourself all the time. And that's what prevents what you were talking about, the sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you love something all the time, you always take care of it.
You always take care of it. So when I came into the station today, I wanted to stop and I wanted to get one of those frozen coffee drinks. And of course, I left my wallet at home, so that didn't end up happening. But so an occasional thing like that, is that taking, is that a decision in the wrong direction then?
Well, in what I teach, which is normal eating, other people call it intuitive eating, there are no good or bad foods. There are clearly foods that have higher nutritional value and lower nutritional value.
Okay.
But once we get into sort of the question you're answering, is it good or is it bad, we're back in childhood when everything was about good or bad.
Okay.
And, basically, well, let me ask you, if I tell you, oh, that's bad, what's your reaction?
Well, I disappointed you. And I haven't even met you in person yet. So.
Some of us say, I'm going to do it anyway. Nobody can tell me what to do, which is very, very common. Or some of us go do it and then feel guilty while we're doing it. And what's the point of having something delicious if you're going to feel guilty? It ruins it.
Mm-hmm.
So really, the whole subject is not only just complicated physically, but emotionally, there's layer after layer after layer.
Yeah. So you have we have to take a break and take care of business very quickly, but you have one of your books, and let me tell the audience all of your books before we go on break. Karen Koenig has 3 books on overeating. The first is The Rules of Normal Eating. The second is Nice Girls, Finish Fat. And the third is the Food and Feelings Workbook. And when we get back, Karen, I'd really like to speak about the workbook and how someone can use that to help them through this process, because it sounds like like you were saying, it's a very multifaceted issue.
Yes.
And then learning how to unconditionally love yourself. Where do you start with that? I mean, all those affirmations that people say, like, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. And there's that part of your brain going, Are you kidding? So let's talk about that when we get back. And one more thing before we go on break. If you want to check out Karen while we're on break, go to her. She blogs for eatingdisordersblogs.com. So check that out. We'll be right back. This is your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, this is Katie Moffett, and you're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
Scratch Golf Accelerated, Santa Clarita's unique indoor golf training and fun center. We have great programs for kids and adults of all levels. Rain or shine, we're here to improve your golf game and have fun doing it.
It's great to practice with just the girls at Scratch.
We enjoy playing in the adult league at night. It's a great time.
And they make it so much fun for the kids too.
We love Scratch!
Come see us at Scratch.
You chose the Santa Clarita Valley for quality of life, but you also need quality of health. In the last few years, Henry Mayo has dramatically advanced care for our maturing population, introducing life-saving cardiovascular services, achieving an advanced primary stroke center designation, receiving the highest cancer program accreditation, and developing new joint replacement and spine programs. In fact, Henry Mayo is now a Best Los Angeles Regional Hospital. Henry Mayo, helping ensure your quality of life through better quality of health.
Hello and welcome back to Alive and Well Radio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am Karena Thek, and we are joined today by Karen Koenig. She is a clinical social worker and an expert on the psychology of eating, the how, the why, and not the what of it. Karen Koenig is the author of The Rules of Normal Eating, Nice Girls Finish Fat, and the Food and Feelings Workbook. Welcome back, Karen.
Thanks.
I wanted to talk about the Food and Feelings Workbook. So it addresses the problem of emotional. I don't know why I'm getting stuck on my words. It is the lack of having that drink I always get before the show. And because we have a psychologist on the air. And they can see right through you, so
exactly.
Just makes you nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me start that over. So I wanted to speak about your Food and Feelings Workbook and how it helps people address the problem of emotional eating.
Well, in a very basic way, and it's really a great workbook for people who don't even have food problems, because we are, most of us, clueless about the purpose of emotions, except to know if they don't feel good, I want to avoid them. So it's a basic primer on the purpose of emotions. And in terms of evolution, everything has a purpose, or it wouldn't have lasted this long. So the purpose of emotions is similar to senses, to tell us about our inner world the way the senses tell us about our outer world.
Oh.
And if you don't pay attention, it's like not picking up the phone, not answering, email, not looking at your emails, not looking at a fax, not looking at a text. This is just information. We don't have to be afraid of feelings because they're there to tell us something.
But they feel so bad sometimes. I mean, I certainly don't like feeling sad.
Well, we don't have to like it, but if we don't like it, we also don't like the consequences of not paying attention to our feelings.
That's true.
So I personally would rather feel my feelings. And some of them that feel bad feel that way because of what we tell ourselves. For instance, I had a client who could not decide which school to send her child to. And she was agonizing, and she kept agonizing and feeling as if I should know the answer to this. Well, it was the pressure she put herself on being confused or uncertain that was getting her, as opposed to saying, I don't know. I will research it. I'll do the best I can. I'll make an informed decision. And that's that.
Okay.
So it's not always the feeling. It's the judgment we place on ourselves. Feelings are really useful to tell us what to do.
Yes, I mean I can see your point, and I can see in my own life where feeling bad has gotten me out of a certain situation or dynamic or whatever. But certainly the first thing I do when I feel bad is I try not to feel bad anymore. Instead of like trying to figure out why I feel bad. Usually I feel like I know why I feel bad. It's like, well, because that person is horrible. I'm teasing.
Well, but that's great.
That's my gut.
registered.
That's my gut. That's always my first response.
But that's healthy. That's what your feelings are there for. Freud got a lot of it wrong, but he said we go towards pleasure and we go away from pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole purpose of feelings. So you do good when you feel badly about someone and you say, I don't like how they treated me.
Mm-hmm.
There's different kinds. There's grief when somebody dies. There's really not much you can do. You just feel it and you get through it. And then there's other feelings that are telling us something.
Mm-hmm.
And they're highly, highly useful.
So in the Food and Feelings workbook, is there there's a direct link between the food and the emotional aspect of that? Helps people understand where that's coming from, or how does that work?
Yes, and the fact that it's a workbook, it has exercises, and this is, a lot of people get my books as e-books, but I really, even though the workbook is sold as an e-book, I recommend getting it so you can really scribble all over it.
Mm-hmm.
In paper copy. It leads you through, what's the purpose of feelings? Why are we afraid of feelings?
Mm-hmm.
And then it takes people through the feelings that often generate eating. And I don't even call it emotional eating. It's just eating. If it's not hunger eating, it's pretty much emotional.
Okay. We have to take a quick break, Karen. When we get back, I'd like to talk to you about your book, Nice Girls Finish Fat. And if you'd like to check that book out, that book out while we're on break, it is nicegirlsfinishfat.com. I am Karena. This is your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, I'm Kim Karowski, and you're watching SCV TV, local television for Santa Clarita.
When someone abducts a child, they're not about to advertise it. But we will. Sign up at wirelessamberAlerts.org to get free Amber Alert text messages on your cell phone. Wireless Amber Alerts. A child is calling for help.
When I grow up, I want to help animals. When I grow up, I want to help animals. When I grow up, I want to help animals.
Hello, and welcome back to Alive and Well Radio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am Karena Thek. I am joined by Karen Koenig. She is a clinical social worker and an expert on the psychology of eating, the how and the why, not the what of it. Karen, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We have about 3 minutes before we finish up today, and we've been speaking about the Food and Feelings workbook that you have that helps people address why or the problem of emotional eating. And I wanted to backtrack really quickly, and how would someone recognize that they are even doing that they are emotionally eating?
Well, if you're not hungry and you don't want the food that you're eating, there's something else going on.
Oh,
and I recommend a very, very simple question and answer. That if you're eating, if you have the urge to eat, to say, am I hungry?
Mm-hmm.
If yes, what do I want to eat? Then you go in one direction. If the answer is no, what am I feeling? Go right to feelings.
Okay.
And that's
Excellent.
pretty simple. So that's sort of a foot in the door before it happens.
Right. Now, what about your book, Nice Girls Finish Fat? What is the premise behind that book?
Well, I work with so many really wonderful, wonderful women who don't really think they're wonderful, and because of that, they feel they have to be nice all the time. And the qualities of a, quote, nice girl, perfectionist, all or nothing thinking, very nice to other people, overly nice, not so nice to themselves, are the go-to people. Oh, I'll do that. Oh, I'll do that. They get walked on. Their feelings are easily hurt, but they don't speak up. Not great boundaries. Get the picture?
Yeah. That was totally not what I was expecting you to say about that book. But that's really very cool. I like that a lot.
Well, and the problem is they take care of everybody else, and they take care of themselves with food.
Got it. So do people just not make enough time to take care of themselves? Is that one of the issues that you see?
Well, yes and no. I think that that's true. But again, it goes back to my absolute fervent belief that if we really love ourselves, we treat ourselves well, and we make that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I can pretty much guess if somebody is always running around and then not feeding themselves well, they don't feel really very good about themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to me to work on all the different levels. Self-care, eating, but also the underneath feeling of, I really love myself as is. Not when I'm perfect, not when other people love me.
Mm-hmm.
I just love me 24/7. I'm okay.
Now, you are an eating coach, and you have a clientele worldwide. How do you work with your clientele worldwide?
Some phone work, a lot of Skype.
Okay, great. So people from California can reach you wherever you happen to be.
They certainly can, yep.
Okay, great. And your websites are eatingnormal.com and Nice Girls Finish Fat. Any other way we should leave or give people to get a hold of you?
Just that I also run a message board on Yahoo.
Okay.
Food and Feelings message board. Has several hundred people. And people really form a supportive community for each other. And the last thing is that really this is a problem that can be taken care of. It's resolvable.
And that offers a lot of hope right there. And Karen, unfortunately, we have to let you go. We've been speaking with Karen Koenig. She is a clinical social worker. You can find her at Nice Girls Finish Fat or eatingnormal.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen.
Thank you so much.
This is Alive and Well Radio on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Have a good one, everybody.